Many in the southwest United States are facing a drought. Could the Great Lakes be a potential solution to the problem? DTV premieres another one of our Nova stories.
After several years, the DHS baseball team just got a big win for the district. How the players are feeling.
And Taylor Swift is coming to Detroit. Find out how to get tickets. DTV News starts right now. The DHS baseball team just took home their first district title since 2018.
The team is on fire, and they don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Landon joins us from the sports desk with more on this exciting news. Landon?
On Saturday, the baseball team took on Lapeer Lightning in the first round of district playoffs. In the first round, the Cards beat the Lapeer Lightning and ended it with 9-4. Going into the second round, the Cards were pumped up after their big win against one of our biggest rivals and ready to take on Flushing. And they carried that confidence throughout the game, and in the end it showed. The Cardinals won the game with 11-2.
Our goal since the beginning of the year was obviously win districts. We had other goals as well, but that goal for sure was the biggest one. We achieved that, so very happy with that.
It was really emotional to go out with all the people I've been playing with since I was, I don't even know, 8. So honestly, it was just great to get something with them.
Great job, guys. I'll toss it right back to the desk.
If you're a sophomore or junior and need a parking spot on campus, please see the front office to obtain a yellow form. Turn the signed yellow form in along with your driver's license and Michigan vehicle registration. All parking spots vacated by a senior are currently being assigned to those on the waiting list. They are going fast, so get your yellow ticket or your yellow form in today. You can still buy a yearbook. There are only 5 left. If you're interested, go to jostens.com to order with a credit card. Or you can stop by room 256 to see Miss Simmer with cash or a check for $106. Make sure to get yours before it's too late.
All student library books are due this Thursday, June 8th. The library will not be allowing any new checkouts. However, students may renew their current library books in order to be able to finish them. Also, if you plan on driving next year and getting a parking spot on campus, you must have all library fines paid and books returned before you will be assigned a parking spot. For any upcoming seniors, Ms. Abenaj is looking for MCs to host next year's kickoff assembly during HOCO week. If you are interested, please stop by her room 212 before June 12th to get information on tryouts and more.
Key Club will be meeting today to discuss next year's service projects. Please bring your ideas. There will be an executive board meeting immediately following. They will be meeting right after school.
Any students looking to shake it off, Taylor Swift is coming to Detroit this Friday and Saturday. Don't be an anti-hero and get those tickets. Unfortunately, Ticketmaster is all sold out, but don't worry, it's not endgame. You can find people selling them online, on social media as well as StubHub. If you feel like getting in a getaway car and driving down there, you can see if people are selling at the door. Make sure to show up in style and feel bejeweled.
Coming up in sports, find out when and where you can try out for cheer.
And us Michiganders are expecting a slight cool down this week. Cooper has your 4-day forecast.
I'm very good, thank you very much. Now, have you gotten your annual checkup done?
Yes, I have.
All right, have you seen the eye doctor?
Yep, I was there last week.
Awesome. And what about that ankle? You gotten that checked out?
It seems so good so far.
All right. What about your mental health?
You're supposed to check on that?
Well, you know, mental health is just as important as everything else.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I got Jimmy Collins on the slam.
Hey Davison, after a nice weekend, let's run straight into some sports. Davison is hosting the Champions of Champions Track and Field Festival this Friday and Saturday. There should be about 1,000 athletes competing across all of the events at Cardinal Stadium. If you would like to go and watch it, it is $8 to get in. If running is something you may be interested in doing, our cross-country team is looking for athletes for next season. Just head to room 105 after school this Wednesday to meet with Mr. Ames. Sports physicals will be given here at DHS for any athlete who still needs one. It will be this Wednesday evening, June 7th, from 6 till 8. The cost is $25. All athletes must have a current sports physical dated on or after April 15th of this year to be eligible for next school year. DHS cheer tryouts are today and tomorrow from 2:45 until 4:45. They will be held in the Davison Middle School cafeteria. There is also a mandatory parent meeting after tryouts tomorrow at 5:30 in the DMS cafeteria. If you missed the first meeting, informational packets are in the front office. Hey Coop, I heard we might be getting another cool down soon. Are any of these rumors true?
Landon, all I have to say, my friend, is that sunny days are ahead. Good afternoon, Davison. Unfortunately, it's Monday again, but we have to keep pushing through. So today it's going to be in the 80s, which is, I think, something that everyone likes. Summer, yay. But as I just pointed out, things are going to go down a little bit in the 70s. But Wednesday is looking like the lowest day this week so far at 72, but things hopefully will go back again. But weather-wise, look at, it's sunny. Lots of sun. Not really a lot of clouds besides today. Now if we take a look at the radar, we can see that, there we go. If we look at the radar, we can see there is not a lot going on here around Michigan. Maybe over here in the Midwest, but not a lot going on in Michigan. So sunny days, and it's going to be clear weather. Now if we take a look outside, everything's looking, oh, there's some rain marks that's looking right here. It's not looking as good as it did this morning, but this morning it was looking like a great day to go walk, but now it's looking a little drowsy, a little cloudy. Hopefully, as the day goes on, it'll get a little bit sunnier. Okay, I'll send things right back to Caleb at the desk.
We continue premiering our stories that we have worked on all year in collaboration with PBS's Nova Science Studio. Today we dive into the Great Lakes and our drought story, and a possible project that could make history in America. Jack Blasick joins us now in the studio with a closer look. Jack?
Those in the southwest of the United States aren't strangers to the ongoing drought. We spoke to engineers about the possibility of helping them using Michigan's greatest resource, the Great Lakes. This is a map of Michigan. As you can see, there's a lot of water here. In fact, this one region holds as much as 20% of the world's surface freshwater. To the people of Michigan, the Great Lakes are essential. Liz Kirkwood is executive director at FLOW, a nonprofit organization focused on protecting the Great Lakes.
So that your children can go swim and drink the water and just enjoy and go fish and all of the things that we associate with the Great Lakes.
Michigan is lucky with its abundance of water. Its economy depends on it. More than 1 million jobs rely on the Great Lakes, according to the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. But on the other side of the country, some places are much less fortunate and have much less access to fresh water. According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, as an effect of climate change, the Southwest has been heating up, resulting in less precipitation, and in the last 20 years has caused a nearly continuous drought to prevail over the region, and over 40 million people have to live through the drought every day. Tom Minkley, a professor of geology and geophysics at the University of Wyoming, has been studying long-term change in the Southwest, especially the effects of the drought.
On the land, we're seeing the really large fires, which is unprecedented in the last 20,000 years. Yeah, trees are dying. We're seeing changes in the flowers, so the annual plants are different, and the amount of water that's running through the rivers are less.
So we have a place with no water over here and a place with a lot of water over here. So why don't we connect the two and start pumping water over to where the drought is, and boom, problem solved. Whoa. Now, you might think it's that simple, but an actual pipeline for fresh water would be massive, expensive, and controversial. A pipeline would have to go almost 2,000 miles across the country and go up 7,000 feet in elevation.
That's a large amount of weight to lift. Water is very heavy.
And to add to all this potential difficulty, there's also a literal mountain range in the way. The energy levels needed in order to make this happen are massive, so let's take a look at an example. How far can we transport fresh water? Well, the largest water pipeline in the world is the Great Man-Made River in Libya, and it spans roughly 1,750 miles, or roughly the distance from Chicago to Los Angeles. In all, there were 5 stages to finish this project, with an estimated $25 billion and 23 years to completely build. Drew Grunwald, a professor at the University of Michigan, knows a pipeline of this magnitude is possible, but it has its challenges.
From an infrastructure perspective, I like to tell a lot of my students, we're remote controlling, all-terrain vehicles on Mars. The possibility of building the type of infrastructure to carry water across the country is probably there. I have not done the cost estimates of it. It would be extraordinarily, almost cost prohibitive.
Another hurdle that would need to be overcome is local and federal laws that make it near impossible. Nick Schreck, a law professor at Detroit Mercy, is very well versed in the legislation designed to protect the Great Lakes.
So back then in the early 2000s, some of our legislators started looking around and they said, how would we stop someone from taking Great Lakes water to another part of the country, another part of the world? And that started these negotiations to develop something called the Great Lakes Compact, which is a law that we have that actually bans diversions of water out of the Great Lakes Basin.
A total of 8 states and 2 Canadian provinces are members of the compact that has approved by the U.S. Congress. In order to overturn the compact, you would have to go all the way to the top of the United States and Canada government. Finally, the water supplies of the Great Lakes aren't limitless.
Only about 2% of the Great Lakes are actually fed each year from rain and snowmelt. The rest is water that's ancient water. It's left over from glaciers from the last ice age when they retreated. So that means that if we're using more water than that, 2-3% of Great Lakes water that can be replenished each year by rain and snow, over time you deplete it. And so we could see that happening where, over many years you could actually see the Great Lakes running dry.
And that's exactly what happened to the RLC in Central Asia. It used to be the 4th biggest freshwater lake in the world. But when water was diverted to grow crops, the RLC eastern side completely disappeared over time. So a pipeline is not physically, economically, or politically viable. What else can be done to address drought and climate change in the Southwest?
So when we're talking about water, we need to think much more locally than, big ideas of pipes and making it a bigger plumbing system.
So one size doesn't fit all, and each region will need its own solution. But with new technology still being developed, anything can happen. So is there a backup plan? Well, maybe.
The question about using marine or salt water as a freshwater resource after what we would call desalinization, to take that salt out, sort of falls into that category I talked about earlier about putting, ATVs on Mars, right, and remote controlling them. We have the technology, and there are parts of the world that are actually implementing it quite readily. The arguments against it you'll hear are that it's energy intensive, which it is, and it does create a waste product, which it does.
Even desalinization has its setbacks, but regardless of the solution, the problems are clear. Climate change is having an impact. The Southwest is in need of help, and the Great Lakes is becoming a more vital resource than ever before.
I'm here now with Jack Balasic and Maddox Bissett, who worked on this story. How did this problem specifically catch your guys' eye?
Well, in Michigan, we have the 5 Great Lakes, of course, and as you guys probably heard in the story, the Southwest isn't as fortunate with the amount of rain that they get versus the amount of rain that we get. So again, we have all this water here, but it's not going anywhere. I believe that if the Southwest is really struggling with their water deficits, I feel that the Great Lakes should be part of that, should be part of the solution to that.
Mm-hmm. So you're basically saying that you personally are on the side where we should be helping out the Southwest with their drought issues because of the amount of water that we have?
Yes, I definitely think it has its pros and cons, but more pros than cons, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So Jack, how do you personally feel about our Great Lakes being potentially used to mitigate the drought out in the Southwest?
Well, I think the Great Lakes are just such an important part of our economy and are really important way of the way we live here in Michigan. But if people are almost dying, and if people do die and we are the only solution and we need to help them, then I think we do need to help them. But like the story says, there's other solutions being discovered, like desalinization and other things like that. But it's not a one shoe fits all. We need to think of other solutions.
So, on a lighter note, what was your guys' favorite part about filming or just making this story in general?
Honestly, like getting to meet all the people along the way, like
Definitely.
the places that we went for these shoots were just so beautiful and had so much scenery in them. And it was also just amazing to find out just the true extent of the drought. Not amazing to find out the extent of it, but amazing to see like how much some of these scientists know and how much they were willing to give their input.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming today. And Davison, you have a great day, and tune in tomorrow to learn about one of the most wasteful problems here at DHS and around the world.